Welcome everybody to the first video in the VueJS series for events for coding theory. This is public function and we're going to go start in here at the very beginning. We're going to spin up our, we're going to change our monitors to the left hand side so you guys can see what the heck I'm doing. So we're going to shift over to the left monitor. I've got my Bitbucket up on here. We're in the VueJS events. We've tagged the start of this now on Git. So what we're going to do is we're going to spin up the Vue project. So this project that you guys will be able to download eventually, I'm going to actually stick this on GitHub where it's not private. Put this code and move it, move it over to GitHub so you guys can see it, and I'll put links and stuff in the description for this actual set of code anyway, and you guys will be able to do that. So that's now going to run and build that. So if we go over here, what we're going to do is we're going to close that down. We're going to go over to localhost, straight to the coding theories components page. So there's going to be a further series down there. We're going to actually teach you how to build this very basic SPA web app here. It's nothing too much in there, but what we're going to concentrate on is we're going to concentrate on this gist, on the code for building an event. So I'm going to show you a nice, simple, quick way of how we can deal with that. So we have our component sheet page that you saw earlier, and this is basically the page itself. So obviously within VueJS, if you haven't said this before, I'll say again, everything in VueJS is a component. Basically, the minute you walk out of this file here and this is getting mounted, you're basically at that point you're at a component. So most SPAs are a series of lots of components of various scales. So we'll go through how this is how this is built in another series. I'm not going to cover that now. We're just going to go in. You guys are going to have an understanding of a decent basic understanding of VueJS, a reasonably decent understanding of JavaScript, CSS and all the other nonsense that goes along with what we're doing in here. So if you have decent front end base knowledge, you should be able to cover this quite well and follow it quite well. If not, guys, obviously comments are below. That's what they're there for. If you've got questions on what's happening, what we're doing, all you have to do is put a comment below and ask, and I will come up with an answer for you. So we are gonna go into here. We've got a component sheet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this as, I'm going to call that functional component. So this component isn't going to be, is going to be functional, but the way we do this is I'm going to do it on a simple, basically all we're going to do is I'm going to press a button in one component, and then the application is going to be listening for that event, and it's going to then, the application itself is then going to fire and handle that event directly, and that does mean that this is going to be handled at this level, not at any component level. So what we need to do first is we need to get all the stuff we need set up. So we're going to go through and we're going to do that code right now, and then I'll walk you guys through what's going on. So let's get this code in. I'm going to shut up. I might even play some nice music for you. Okay guys, so this is the first start of what we're doing. So what we're going to do is I'll go quickly over what I've coded in here. So we'll close the component sheet down because we don't really need that right now. So here in the code, what's happened is I need to basically create a folder that contains information about what's going to happen with the event busing. So the first thing that I do is I create an event bus folder inside the source. So we created this nice basic, and I'll scroll in so you guys can see what's going on, so you can actually read what's going on. So we created an index.js file in Toast. That means that it's just in things, in frameworks, and this, like for node-based systems, as this technically is, index.js is the first thing that Node looks for. So it means that you don't have to do toast.js, because when you import it, you have to call it and tell it that's the JS file you're looking for. So when we're doing these type of things, as we go further and we build upon this project kit, or this components library, we'll start to just build these up and they'll become bigger and bigger and bigger. We've got our index.js file for Toast. As I say, I've probably said before, Node.js, the simplest way for it to pick up a file within a folder content is to call it index.js. You'll find as we build scope within the content of the projects that you guys will eventually get access to be able to play with locally. This is a great way of dealing with that. So let's go through this index.js file for the Toast itself. So that's what the event we're going to fire. We're going to just basically bring up a little box on the app that just comes up and does something and closes itself off. So let's walk through this. So because we have to register this as a new Vue component, we import Vue directly. So when you're doing imports, we always have to import Vue, Vuex, anything that is in the nodes modules folder has to come first. I think it's an implicit import. So the next, I like to leave a blank line after that. I just think it's for neatness and tidy. It makes things very readable. The next part is we declare a constant called Toast event, and that's what we declare as a new Vue component. We'll go through what's happening in there in a minute, and then to make the index file work properly, we export the Toast event constant back out. Once they've done that, we go to index.js. So this is the main event bus index.js. So that allows us to be able to go into and pull the event bus system in its entirety, or we can go to the event bus directory and just pull the Toast event system on its own. So this is a personal choice and how you handle that, but this gives us the facility to be able to say, right, give me the event bus, and I want the event bus Toast, please. Thank you very much. Now with the event bus, obviously, it doesn't matter what we call that, because when we import this, it's not being exported as a constant. We're just registering the fact that Toast event from the Toast folder in the index.js file is available at this level from this file. Okay, a bit confusing, but it'll become a bit more clear further down. So we'll go back into the Toast event from here. So we declare the new Vue component. So these components follow the standard life cycles. They obey everything else that you've ever built inside VueJS itself. They have the same parameters, the same abilities. As I said, they'll have watchers, they'll have computes, they have methods, as you can see here. They have the life cycles of befores, and the couple of afters that are available. But the only thing we need for this is a method. Okay, so the method we've called it a global success toast. Now this method expects 3 parameters to come in, and this is 3 parameters that will basically help us control the toast. There's message, basically the text that's coming into the toast. Is dismissible is basically to say whether that toast auto closes or not, and then a timeout parameter, and that timeout parameter is how many milliseconds that will stay up before it auto dismisses. Okay, inside that, what happens is we then use Node.js's emit system to emit an event and additional parameters. So the event that we're emitting is success toast. Okay, you with me so far? We're then setting a 4th parameter to success. Now, there's a couple of ways we can do this. We could literally just emit toast. So I've done success toast and I've said success. Now, that doesn't make much sense, because what I'm saying is I want to set a success toast out. So what we're going to do is we're not going to call it success toast, because that doesn't make any sense. So we're just going to call it global toast, because that's a bit better. Or if you guys prefer, system toast. Okay, I think so. We'll stick with system toast. I think that's nice. I like it. I like it. You like it? We all like it. So this is system toast. So we're emitting system toast, and we're telling it's a success. We're passing in the message into the emit. We're passing the is dismissible, and we're passing the timeout. So what that means is when anything asks for a toast to be fired, and it uses global success toast, all they have to do is give us some text, tell us whether it's true or false for being dismissible, and how long and how many seconds that timeout's going to last. Now this isn't foolproof. There's a lot of tidying up and other things we can do in this to make this a little bit better. We're not going to do that now. We're just showing you how this event system fires. And what we're going to do is we're going to do an information toast. Okay, and then what we have to do is change this parameter to information. And let's go in. We'll do the other two because these information, that doesn't work. We're changing that here. So, and then let's have an error state. So we have an error toast, and then we'll change the first parameter in here to error. Okay, so we've created inside our toast event 3 basic ways of handling toasts: a success, information, and error. There's probably a 4th one we could add if we want to, which is, we'll add it above so that it makes a bit more sense. Warning toast. So this gives us 4 basic toasts that we should be able to fire from anywhere within our application at any point in time. Meaning that in network requests, in after button events, anything we need to do, we're able to pick the event that's happened, and on that being fired, we can then tell the toast event system to fire one of these 4 things. And these will handle any basic case of a success. Something's gone on, we need to tell someone. It's not important. It's not massively going to be troubleshooting. It's just information that they need to be aware of. The warning toast to say that, look, this is a bit dodgy, or or something along those lines. And global error toast, which is handling any error state toast events that we can have. So once this is done, that sets that part of the event bus up. It's pretty simple. It's pretty lean. There's not much in there. Again, as we see, I'll zoom in a bit, guys, so you can see what happens on here. So this is the event bus part. We import toast event from toast, which indicates that we're importing this export constant, okay, from that directory, which is this index file, because as I said, it's not importing every file in the directory. The system automatically only cares about the index.js file. So that's that set up. And I'll zoom these out a little bit so they're not too much in my face. And that's pretty much that part of that toast set up. I'll carry on. I'm going to go and set up the remaining part. So I need to set up the app level part of this. So I'm going to go in 2 seconds, and I'm going to go and set the app up. Oh, I tell a lie, I can't do that. You fool. What I need to do is I need to go and do the toast, because we're going to fire that, and it's the toast component that's going to be listening for the events. So I'm going to set up system directory. So when I'm doing components, I like everything in directories. I like everything to be, these are quite simple ones, but as we build up different things in these projects, you're going to find I'll start nesting in folders, because it just keeps things clean and it makes things easier to deal with and find. So we've got our system directory, and we are going to fire, let's just call them, let's add them into a folder called notifications, because there are many different types. We're going to create another directory in here called, this is why I get pretty deep with these at times, because it just means that it means something, if you know what I mean. So we have our template, and all I'm doing is I'm just sourcing the file instead of having the content inside the HTML. It's the same with script and style. Now, you don't technically need this parameter, and technically what we're writing is that. But you know what? Just for argument's sake, we don't need it. We don't need to define what that is. It's not something we have to care about. Okay? Only in the styling system, when we're not using CSS directly and we're using post-processors like less, SCSS, SAS, stylus, that we have to tell WebKit, or Webpack, sorry, my bad. We have to tell Webpack what post-processor to use. You always have to make sure that your Webpack post-processor is set up to accept and deal with SCSS. I think if you're using the V3 CLI system, which this has been spawned from, it handles SCSS, SAS, stylus, less out of the box. And the last thing is scoping. I probably have covered this previously, but scoping means that the styling is relative to that component only, and it stops it becoming global. Okay, does that make sense, everybody? Cool. Right. So we'll move on to the toast. Move on to the toast component itself. That's pretty much the toast, the JavaScript for the toast, guys. So I walked through that there. It's pretty easy. Well, I say that. If it's not, guys, just rewatch the video and go over it again. If you have comments or questions, use the comments and questions below. So this is importing the event bus, using the entire event bus to get the toast event to listen to the system toast emit that's coming from the toast, passing those parameters, setting these data type objects based on the information that's being passed, and then if it's dismissible, setting a timeout and doing it there. We're then dynamically setting out, in fact, you know what, just to keep things the same, we're then setting out 3 computed methods to be able to control the HTML, and then also an ability to close it when it doesn't dismiss. So that's the toast pretty much there from a functional point. We've now got the HTML to write. Okay guys, so let's do that. I've done that, so let's go through what we're doing on here. So this is the HTML. If we ignore the transition part at the top for now, I'll let you see what's going on here. So basically right now we have our HTML structure for our toast. Our toast is just a bar that will appear on the top of the application. We will set its style, its width and everything up correctly for that. And we have 3 parts to the toast internally. So on the left of the toast, we're going to have an icon. The center of the toast, which will be this part, is the message, and the end of the toast, if it isn't auto dismissible, we're going to add our close icon. Okay, nice and simple, he said. So the first thing we check to make sure this element just doesn't appear willy-nilly is if the component is telling it that it needs to show itself, and that's what the show toast parameter does. So as default, if you remember guys, in here show toast is false. So if VIF will do a conditional check that show toast is false, so therefore it won't do anything because the conditional is saying is show toast true. That conditional check fails, we'll move on, it won't happen. The next thing we're doing is setting the status. So all these sets that we did and computed are all about controlling the CSS and styling, which means we don't have to code in separate toast for everything. We just let the SCSS handle that for us without any great problems. So we've got set status, the set result status as well, and then the set result icon. We then carry on down, we have the message, and all we're doing is we're not styling the message, we're just throwing it into a div and saying give me the message. And then the last part again is checking to find out if auto dismiss is false, and then we manually add in some class content in there. And the big part on this one is on the click. So on the clicking of that element, we'll execute the dismiss method, which is down here. That empties the message and then sets the show toast to false. So that, guys, is pretty much the basics of the toast. Nothing huge, not a big problem. This should be nice and simple. Yeah? Cool. Now, this is where you guys are going to get that little bit of exposure to what the transition part is for. So this isn't going to look pretty, guys. We have no base colors or stuff set up on the project yet. So it's going to be very basic. It'll be very flat colors, and we'll just so you guys can see layout. It's not going to be that pretty. So okay guys, that's all the CSS written up for that. That was a bit of a hefty one. I wanted to try and keep it as nice and neat as possible, to be perfectly honest. So I kind of went a little bit overboard on the styling on here. So we'll see how it runs. I've not looked at it yet because we haven't seen the toast. And I'm not going to literally make my way and look at the toast until we've done what we're going to do. But that's pretty much the toast. That's the toast ready to go. So the last stage on this is to pull this away from here and actually go into the app. So go into the app and now get the app to be aware of the toast system. So I'm cheating. What I'm doing here is I'm going into Git and literally asking Git to go into another branch and pull some code in for me, because I'm lazy like that. So inside component system now we have the buttons and we have a basic button. Okay, this basic button doesn't do anything. We're not really bothered about it. It's just a nice little thing to have. And what we'll do is on the Chrome side of life, in fact, I'll open up mini Chrome down here in the bottom right corner. What we'll do on here is we'll just literally get this button inside the basic component. So we're going to do that right now. Okay, so we've got that. We're all happy. Let's clap our hands. We're doing good. Okay, so we've got the basic button in. So let's go into the HTML component page. I'll bring up mini Chrome here. And inside here, we will add the basic button. Yeah, because of auto completion on this system, it annoyingly did that and broke it. And there we go, guys. We've got our basic button. Okay, so basic button doesn't have anything in there. So I'm just going to tell it to have show toast. We'll update that and we'll get the button up, and you guys will see on the bigger one that we have show toast. Okay, so at the moment on show toast, if I bring up the console, which I haven't got up yet, give me 2 seconds. Oh no, I don't want to exclude that. I want to go and do this. So we bring up the console, guys. And then the console, instead of undefined, system toasted register component completely, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let me double check and see this is in case I've got a problem on here that I haven't picked up yet. No, these are old errors, obviously. So we click test, nothing happens on this basic button right now. What we need to do is we need to get this system to fire the toast. So you can see, guys, here now, when we click show toast, we're getting clicked me, and that's what we wanted. So that's groovy cool. So we're going to go back to the component sheet. And what we're going to do now is we're now going to do one last thing. We're going to import the event bus from if I can actually spell bus correctly, okay, so this is now where we're going to tell this button to actually do the toast. I have no idea what the toast is going to look like, whether this is going to work, because we've just typed this blind right now. So, so we are now going to get the toast event to fire its thing. So if we go back to the event toast, what we want it to do is do a global success toast for us, okay? And we'll get that in there. We'll get it to do a global success toast. We're going to be hopeful this worked first time. We're going to set this to be auto dismissible, and we want it to be up there for 5 seconds before it dismisses. Okay, so that's pretty much this in. So let's go over to Chrome. Okay, I'm going to do a complete reload. Even if it's done a hot reload, I'm going to do a complete refresh on here. And we're going to hit show toast. And there you go, guys. There's your toast up. In a few seconds, it will disappear. There we go. That is basically it, guys, with no iconing on there because obviously we don't have that. And what we'll do is I'll set this in here on the code to false. Okay, this is really basic, guys. And then we'll click the button, and then this will stay up here forever until I go over to where the hover is. There's no iconing in here. Click that and it'll close it, and we'll close it manually. So guys, that is a video gist of how to build a system-based event fired thing. The way that this code works is on any event that you require anything to happen, you can use this event bus toast event to emit whatever you require. Guys, it's that simple. Okay, I'm going to leave that here, guys. If you've got comments or questions or feedback about what approach I used, or well, anything along those lines that you think that I think this could be improved this way, I'm happy to take that feedback, guys. You know, I do this for a living, so we don't always get everything right in the real world, and it's great to see what you guys want. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something from this. I will put the code that I've done here in the complete code section, all up eventually on GitHub. We will link that in, guys. Remember to follow me on Twitter at coding_theory, and we'll get updates on there because we'll post those gists up, or the repositories up for you guys to play with. Guys, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and please, if you want to see more, please like and subscribe, and we'll get more content out, more guests out. There is a series coming, guys. I'm working on it on how to build basic components, but I'll go into a bit more detail about good and bad practice ways of dealing with it. Okay, thank you all for watching, everybody. Catch you later. Bye.